Hello everyone, my name is Raghavi Priya, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering. So in this video, you are going to see about object and classes under that topic constructor. So the subject code is 19 CST 205 Object Oriented Programming using Java. So constructors in Java, building objects with purpose. Understanding how to create and initialize object effectively through constructor. So the fundamental building blocks of object oriented programming in Java. So let's recall about the previous topic. So what we know about classes and objects. So classes we have already discussed. It is a blueprint of an object. So a class is a template that defines the structure and behavior of objects. It contains fields known as attributes and methods known as behaviors that describes what an object will be and what it can do. So the syntax for a class is class followed by class name. So class here we have mentioned class name as student. So objects are the real instances of a class. So objects are actual instances created from a class blueprint. So each object has its own state and can perform actions defined by the class. So how will you declare an object? So you will declare an object using new keyword. So student1 equal to new of student. So defining constructor, the foundation of object creation. So what is a constructor? So the constructor invoked automatically when an object is created. So it shares the same name as the class and has no return type. So the primary purpose of a constructor is to initialize object state by setting initial values to instance variables. So when the object is initiated. So the automatic invocation. So called automatically using the new keyword during object creation. So ensuring proper initialization. So the constructor will be called after declaring the object using the new keyword. So consider this example. So class name is called. So string model int year or the attributes. So here the constructor will be your call. So the constructor will be called using the class name. So types of constructor. So there are three types of constructor. One is default, parameterized and copy constructors. So the default constructor takes no parameters and initializes object with default values. So whenever you are not giving any such kind of parameter, it considered as a default constructor. So Java provides one automatically if no constructor is defined. So default constructor, there will be no parameter. Example, default car. So next one is parameterized constructor. So it accepts arguments to initialize object with specific values provided during instantiation. So the constructor will consist of an argument as parameter while constructor calling. So copy constructor. So copy constructor creates a new object by copying values from an existing object of the same class. So constructor overloading. So multiple ways to build objects. So constructor overloading allows a class to have multiple constructor with different parameter lists. So providing flexibility in object creation, each constructor serves a specific instantiation scenario while sharing the same. So it consists of a no parameter default values for all fields, then partial parameter some values provided other use default. So all parameters complete control over has an all parameter has an complete control over initialization. So consider this example, class book. Under that we have mentioned the attributes using data types, string, integer, etc. So your constructor is calling with your class name itself. So book, we are calling a constructor book, which is a default constructor. So again we are calling a constructor using a parameterized constructor using another data type. So this dot title equal to title. So this refers to the current object. So another time we are calling again with the same constructor name which has multiple parameters. So this is known as constructor overloading. So this keyword referring current object instance. So understanding this. So this keyword is a reference variable that points to the current object instance. It eliminates ambiguity when parameter names match instance variable names. So distinguish variables differentiates between instance variables and parameters with identical names. So invoke constructor calls another constructor in the same class, which is a constructor chaining. So pass current object. Passes current object as an argument to other methods. Emphasize. So let us compare this using our DT emphasize. So why we are using a best practices for a constructor, the key rules and best practices. So same name as a class name. So constructor must have exactly the same name as the class, including capitalization. Any deviation makes it a regular method. So it will be considered as a regular method, not a constructor. So we must use your constructor name as your class name. So no return type. So constructor never have a return type. In case in all Java methods we will have some kind of a return type. So not even a void, null type. So declaring a return type converts it into a method. So automatic invocation. So constructor call automatically during object creation with the new keyword and cannot be called explicitly like methods. So this must be first. So when using constructor chaining with this, it must be the first statement in the constructor body. So private constructor, making constructor private, it prevents object creators from outside the class, useful for singleton patterns and utility classes. So DT ideate. So real world applications and common use cases of constructor. So in banking systems, bank account objects use parameterized constructor to set account number, holder name, initial balance and account type during creation. So another application is e-commerce platform. So product objects initialized with SKU, name, price and inventory count. So order objects use constructors to set customer details and order item. So next example is database connections. So connection objects use constructor to establish database links with credentials, ensuring proper resource initialization before use. So another application is a game development in which character objects initialize with health, position, abilities and inventory. Copy constructor create enemy clones with identical properties. So singleton pattern. Private constructor prevent external instantiation, ensuring one instance exists throughout the application of life cycle. So mind map. So let us recall what we have discussed in this presentation. So we have discussed constructors in Java. The definition is it is a special method used to initialize object. So the name should be same as the class name. So it is called automatically when object is created. So next, types of constructor. We have seen three types of constructor. Default constructor. One is default constructor. It has no arguments and which assigns the default values. Second one is parameterized constructor. It accepts arguments to assign custom values. The third type is copy constructor. It is a user defined constructor which copies value from another object. So the key features are it does not have any return type, not even a void null type. So it can be overloaded, executed once per object creation. It cannot be abstract, static or final. So example used to initialize the variables when creating an object, improves code readability and reusability. So next one, this and super keyboard. So this calls another constructor in the same class. In case super calls the constructor of the parent class. So here you have an activity, match left to right. So we have given match the following. We have to correctly match with the correct sentence. So first one is default constructor. So for default constructor, the correct answer is first one, which is created with no parameters and supplied automatically if none defined. So B, for parameterized constructor, the correct answer is accepts arguments to set initial value. The third one, copy constructors, values which copies values from an existing object, which is option C3. So final, no argument constructor, which is same as option 1, created with no parameters and supplied automatically if none defined. So fill in the blank. So a constructor must have a dash as the class. So we have already seen the constructor name should be same as your class name. So the constructor must have the name as the class. So second one, constructor do not have a dash type. So even a method can have a return type, but constructor should not have a return type. So the correct answer is return. So this is used to call another dash in the same class. So this keyword is used particularly for calling another constructor in the same class. So the answer is constructor. Thank you.